The numbers on the screen blurred as midnight crept in, and Alyssa's tired eyes refused to rest. She didn't know it yet, but tonight would mark the beginning of the moment her trust finally broke. Subscribe for more. The cold coffee beside her laptop sat untouched. Another late night in her Austin apartment. Clean, quiet, functional, and hollow. She'd been living this way for years, surviving on deadlines and caffeine, convincing herself that hard work would someday make everything worth it. Her phone buzzed. Dad, family meeting this Saturday. Important. Be there at 2 p.m., Alyssa sighed. Family meeting meant one of two things. Someone needed money, or someone wanted to complain about not having enough. Saturday arrived with the kind of Texas heat that made the air shimmer. Alyssa parked outside her childhood home, the same modest ranch-style house her father had inherited from his parents. The front lawn was faded, the paint peeling. It looked as tired as the man who lived inside. She stepped in to find her father, Vincent, reclined in his worn leather chair, remote in hand, golf cap tilted back. Beside him sat Vanessa, her stepmother, all manicured nails and polished smiles. There she is, Vincent said without standing. Right on time. That's my Alyssa, always responsible. It was meant as praise, but it felt like pressure. Alyssa stayed near the doorway. What's going on? Vanessa exchanged a glance with him before flashing her practiced grin. We wanted to talk about a little family vacation. Cancun. All-inclusive, beachfront, paradise. It's time for some quality family time, Alyssa frowned. I don't know. We're rolling out a new inventory system at work. I can't. You work too hard, Vanessa cut in sweetly. You need to learn to live a little, honey. You're almost 30. The word stung more than she expected. Almost 30. Like she was running out of time to be happy. When were you thinking? Alyssa asked carefully. 3 weeks from now, Vincent said eagerly. We already checked prices. It's about $2,400 per person, so $7,200 total for the three of us. Alyssa blinked. That's a lot. Not really, Vanessa chimed in. 7 days, all meals, premium drinks, spa access. You can't put a price on family memories. Vincent leaned forward like he was closing a deal. We'll each pay our own share. Equal split. No handouts. Everyone pays their way. That's fair, right? The word handouts hit Alyssa like a jab. It was strange hearing it from the people who had borrowed money from her more than once. For 30 minutes, they painted pictures of beaches, sunset dinners, and reconnecting. Alyssa listened, torn between suspicion and guilt. Maybe they were right. Maybe she did need a break. By Sunday night, she gave in to the thought of being a good daughter again. She sent a text. Okay, I'm in. Let me know what you need. The reply came seconds later. Dad, that's my girl. I'll handle the bookings. Just be ready to transfer your share when I ask. Alyssa put her phone down and stared into the quiet of her apartment. Something about this felt off, but she brushed it away. It was family, after all. Curiosity. End. When the payment request arrived the next evening, the number on the screen made her breath catch. $7,200. Not her share the entire trip. And that was when Alyssa realized she might have just been played. Alyssa froze when the notification popped up on her phone. Payment request $7,200. Her throat went dry. The number looked wrong. She blinked, hoping her tired eyes were playing tricks on her, but it didn't change. Her father's message had arrived seconds earlier. Booked everything. Need your share ASAP. For a moment, Alyssa hovered over the decline button. She'd worked too hard for her savings. Late nights, overtime, missed weekends. That money was her safety net, not a vacation fund. But then came the guilt. He's your father. It's family. Don't overthink it. She sighed, closed her eyes, and tapped approve. The transaction went through instantly, her account balance dropping in real time, like watching her security vanish with one careless breath. An hour later, another message arrived. Thanks for covering us. Couldn't have done it without you. She read it twice. Covering us? Her stomach twisted. Not your share. Not thank you for sending your part. Covering us. A cold realization crept in. She hadn't paid a third of the trip. She'd paid for all of it. Alyssa grabbed her phone and called him immediately. Dad, you said we were each paying our share. Vincent's voice came through smooth, casual. We are. You paid yours. I paid $7,200. A beat of silence. Then he chuckled. Oh, must have been less than I thought. Lucky us, more for excursions. The casualness in his tone made her chest tighten. You lied to me. Don't make this dramatic, Alyssa, he said sharply. You've always wanted to help family. Think of this as a gift. In the background, Vanessa's voice chimed in, soft and poisonous. So generous, sweetheart. Alyssa hung up. The silence in her apartment felt suffocating. Her hands shook as she stared at the transaction history, watching her savings dip below what felt safe. The next morning at work, Jasmine, her closest friend, noticed the exhaustion on her face. You look awful, she said, dropping a coffee on her desk. What happened? Alyssa told her everything. When she finished, Jasmine's expression had hardened. He stole from you. Alyssa blinked. He's my father. Exactly. That makes it worse. Her words hit like truth wrapped in fire. That night, Alyssa sat at her desk again, the soft hum of the fridge filling the empty room. She opened her laptop, pulled up travel sites, and started searching. If she could find where he booked the trip, maybe, just maybe, she could fix this. After half an hour, a name appeared on the screen. Cancun Premium Paradise Resort. Her stomach dropped. Everything. The urgent tone, the equal split, the handout remark. It had all been orchestrated. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a setup. Alyssa leaned back, her fingers trembling as a new thought formed. If he could plan a lie this perfectly, maybe she could plan something better. The customer service agent's cheerful tone faded the moment Alyssa mentioned her father's name. Yes, ma'am, the reservation is under Vincent Pierce. 3 guests, non-refundable. And just like that, the lie became fact. Alyssa sat frozen at her desk, phone pressed to her ear, staring at the wall like it might offer another answer. Non-refundable? She repeated. Yes, ma'am. Premium package. Huge savings. In exchange for no changes or refunds. Her throat tightened. Every detail of that Saturday conversation replayed in her head. Vincent's practiced charm, Vanessa's easy laughter, the fake warmth when they'd said equal split. None of it had been casual. They'd planned this. After hanging up at the resort, she called the airline. The representative confirmed what she already suspected. Basic economy. No cancellations. No refunds. No exceptions. Her father had chosen the cheapest, least flexible options, ensuring she couldn't claw back a cent. Her hands trembled as she ended the call. This wasn't thoughtless greed. It was strategy. He'd known exactly how to trap her. By mid-morning, she was on the phone with the bank, trying to keep her voice steady. I authorized a payment I was misled about, she said. The recipient told me it was a shared expense. It wasn't. The representative listened quietly, then replied, If there's evidence of misrepresentation, you can file a fraud claim. We'll investigate. 30 to 45 days. A long time to wait. But it was something. Alyssa filled out every form, uploaded screenshots, attached texts where her father said, Everyone pays their share, And that fatal message. Thanks for covering us. She hit submit and exhaled for what felt like the first time in days. That evening, her phone rang again. Vincent. Really, Alyssa? He said, voice sharp with disbelief. You filed a fraud claim against your own father? You stole from me, she said quietly. I didn't steal anything. You gave it willingly. Don't twist it. You said it was $2,400 each. You made me pay all of it. Semantics, he said, voice turning condescending. You've always been generous. Don't ruin that over a misunderstanding. Then, softer but colder. Drop the claim, Alyssa. It'll just make things worse. She hung up. For hours she stared at the empty wall, the hum of her air conditioner the only sound in the room. He'd used her kindness as currency, her guilt as a weapon. And the worst part? He didn't even see it as wrong. By morning, her exhaustion had solidified into clarity. She opened her laptop and created a folder titled CanCon Evidence. Screenshots, statements, payment receipts. Every lie neatly archived. If this became a battle, she'd be ready. Later that day, Vanessa called, voice dipped in fake sweetness. Sweetheart, I think you're being dramatic. Your father loves you. How about this? We'll pay you back $1,000. Let's move on. Alyssa almost laughed. 1,000? You mean a bribe to stay quiet? Vanessa's tone sharpened instantly. Don't be ungrateful, Alyssa. Most people wouldn't offer anything. Alyssa's voice stayed calm. Most people wouldn't steal from their family. Click. Silence. That night, Jasmine called. They'll never give that money back willingly, she said. So stop asking for fairness. Make them feel consequences. Alyssa looked at her computer screen again, at the resort name glowing in the email confirmation. She didn't know how yet. But she would. Her father had played her like a fool. Now it was her turn to learn the rules, and play better. The bank's investigation moved faster than Alyssa expected. An email arrived. Evidence of misrepresentation found. Chargeback initiated. $7,200 would be returned to her account. She sat back in her chair, staring at the screen. The weight that had been sitting on her chest for days finally lifted, but it was quickly replaced by a chill of anxiety. She knew her father wouldn't let this end quietly. The calls started within the hour. Vincent's voice on the first voicemail was furious. You've crossed a line, Alyssa. The bank charged my card for $7,000. My credit's ruined because you can't let things go. You're destroying your own family. Vanessa's message came minutes later. Your father's having chest pains from the stress. If something happens to him, that's on you. The manipulation was predictable. It still hurt. Alyssa stared at her phone until the notification stopped. Then she called Jasmine. They're saying I'm ruining the family, she whispered. Jasmine didn't hesitate. They're trying to guilt you. Don't fall for it. You didn't ruin anything. You're holding them accountable. That night, Alyssa's apartment was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. She kept replaying the messages in her head. Then a knock at the door broke the quiet. Vincent stood outside. His face looked older, the anger replaced with something closer to desperation. Can I come in? He asked. She nodded, stepping aside. He stayed near the door, eyes flicking around her small living room. I came to apologize, he began, his voice low. I should have been clearer about the payment. Maybe I miscommunicated. Miscommunicated? Alyssa said evenly. You lied. You let me pay for your vacation and pretended it was fair. He winced but didn't deny it. You make good money, Alyssa. You don't have kids, no mortgage. She cut him off. So it seemed reasonable to steal from me because I can afford it. His voice cracked. The bank charged my card. I don't have that kind of money. My credit is shot. Please cancel the claim. She shook her head. You shouldn't have spent money you didn't have. He looked at her, helpless now. This was supposed to be special. A real family trip. Real families don't trick each other into paying their bills, she said quietly. He left without another word. When the door shut behind him, Alyssa felt a strange calm settle in her chest. For the first time, she wasn't the one carrying his mistakes. The next morning, the refund appeared in her account. Her balance had returned, but so had something else. Control. Still, staring at the number didn't feel like victory. It felt like the end of something that had already been dying for years. As she scrolled through her email, one subject line caught her eye. Reservation confirmation. Cancun Premium Paradise Resort. She opened it and read the fine print carefully. Non-refundable. But further down, a detail made her pause. Reservation may be canceled or transferred by the primary cardholder with written notice. She stared at that line for a long time. Then she clicked reply, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. Dear Cancun Resort, due to unforeseen circumstances, please cancel my reservation effective immediately. I understand the booking is non-refundable. Her hands trembled, but she pressed send. Hours later, her phone rang. Vincent's voice erupted through the speaker. The resort called. They said the trip was canceled from my email address. What did you do? Alyssa's tone was calm. Maybe you canceled it and forgot. Or maybe they made a mistake. Don't lie to me, he shouted. You ruined our vacation. I didn't ruin anything, she said, voice steady. I just stopped paying for your lies. Then she ended the call. Days passed without another call. The silence felt different this time, clean, final. Alyssa kept working, kept breathing, and for the first time in years, she didn't feel like she was waiting for the next crisis. Weeks later, an envelope appeared in her mailbox. Her father's handwriting was unmistakable. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Alyssa, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but since the chargeback, my credit is destroyed. Vanessa left. I'm struggling. You've punished me enough. I hope you're satisfied. She read it twice and waited for guilt to hit. It didn't. All she felt was a quiet distance, like reading about someone else's life. She folded the letter and dropped it into the recycling bin. In therapy that week, she told her counselor about the letter. There's no apology in it, her therapist said gently. Only blame. Notice that? Alyssa nodded. He's still trying to make me responsible for his pain. And you're not, her therapist replied. You didn't destroy his life. You just stopped letting him use yours. Something settled in Alyssa's chest that night. It wasn't pride. It was peace. A month later, she got an email from her boss. Promotion to Senior Logistics Coordinator. 20% raise. New responsibilities. She stared at the message, smiling to herself. Without the chaos of constant family emergencies, she'd finally been able to focus and succeed. She celebrated quietly with a glass of wine and takeout. Jasmine called to cheer. See? You took your life back, and everything else followed, Jasmine said. Alyssa laughed softly. I think I just stopped apologizing for protecting myself. Life began to fill up again. Pottery classes on Thursdays, long walks on weekends, dinners with friends instead of late-night stress. One evening at the pottery wheel, her instructor said, You're fighting the clay. Let it move with you. Alyssa smiled. The words sank deeper than he knew. For years she'd been fighting her father's nature, trying to mold him into something he could never be. She'd finally stopped fighting and started shaping her own life instead. Months passed. Her father's world continued to collapse. Job lost, apartment rent overdue, friends avoiding his calls. News came through a relative that he'd sold the old family house. Alyssa didn't feel satisfaction, just inevitability. Actions had consequences. Then one afternoon, another letter arrived. His last. "I understand now," it began. "What I did was wrong. You were right to hold me accountable. I'm trying to be better. I'm sorry." She read it sitting in her car, the sunlight warming her hands. It was the apology she'd wanted once, but didn't need anymore. She took a photo of the letter for her records, then tore the original in half and threw it away. Driving home, she realized that forgiveness wasn't always about reconciliation. Sometimes it was just deciding not to carry the pain anymore. That evening, she sat at her pottery wheel again. The clay spun smoothly beneath her fingers, finally centering on its own. The bowl she shaped wasn't perfect, slightly uneven, a little flawed, but it held its form. So did she. She had learned that revenge wasn't always loud. Sometimes it was as simple as living well, standing tall, and letting those who broke you face their own reflection without your help. Alyssa smiled at the soft curve of the finished bowl, the quiet hum of the wheel fading as she whispered to herself, This is what freedom feels like.